Game resumed.
Hey guys, and welcome back for another match between the University of Utah versus Western Ontario. Spawning up top as our green Protoss, it is going to be from the University of Utah, Magnet. His opponent all the way down in the bottom right as our purple Terran from the University of Western Ontario, Karlith. And I'm joined by the magical, the wonderful, the Russian, well, somewhat Russian, Cheesehead Logic.
Somewhat? Oh, dude.
Isn't it somewhat?
Dude.
I'm not sure.
It's
Well,
full.
you've got an American accent
It's
when you
full,
speak
man.
Russian.
It's like 100% like riding bears, like playing the balalaika, wearing the big hat with the flappy ears, the Ushankas. Come on, man. Get with the program. Get with the program. I'm like the opposite of Australia, man. While you're sitting like in like shorts and like tank tops, I'm like busy in like fur jackets and like Ushankas and like just winter stuff. I like wear skis as I walk around the house, man. It's it's a great life. I'm sorry.
This is an amazing map, actually. I haven't seen this map played in a while, so this is everyone who hasn't seen this on GSL Belshire Beach. Belshire, sorry. Vestige, yeah, I thought so.
Vestige. I miss Belshire Beach though. Oh my god.
Yeah, true. It wasn't
But
really
yeah,
balanced map, but it was a map.
no, this is definitely one of those maps I really loved as soon as I first saw it in GSL. I'm like, this definitely has potential to make it to ladder pool. Same with Whirlwind. There was definitely a couple others I would have liked to see, but definitely these have to be one of the top two candidates. And I'm really glad that they're bringing some of these really nice maps, especially from a viewer perspective. Just looked really nice on games, so why not bring it into ladder? Creates for interesting games.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm
PvP,
double gas Protoss, so Stargate.
shocker, such a shocker, right?
Who doesn't do that nowadays?
I know, right? You're just like, I'm playing a Protoss, time to look for proxy games. That's like the mentality I come into with like every single game. I'm like, I don't even like go into the Protoss base. I just sit around the map like looking for proxy gates. I'm like, I know you're gonna place one, man. I know you're gonna place one. Just looking, I'm sitting one base the whole time. He's on 3 base. I'm like, I know you're gonna put that proxy gate eventually down somewhere. We'll have to see.
Like, let's be honest. I mean, this Sky Toss thing's probably come around in huge part, no small part, due to the fact that Hellbats are just so amazing. Like, you don't want to verse Terran on ground anymore because they've got Hellbats.
Oh no, I mean, no doubt about it. Again, they do have their advantages, I guess, if you want to call them at that. They do really well engagements against zealots, but after that, it does become a little bit tougher against stalkers, against some of the bigger units, some of the bulkier stuff. It does become a little bit of a tougher battle, but they do at least do a fairly nice job clearing out some of those charge lots. But that is more towards a late game discussion. Right now, what I'm still not seeing too much of are some of these Hellbat drops that we used to see at the beginning of beta and stuff like that. Now it's more focused towards Widowmine drops and Marine drops, the early portions of the game to kind of cheese toss. But as you mentioned, again, I mean, the high chances of something kind of getting thrown down. Oh, the Marine!
Just this is the probe. That probe is a hero probe, no doubt about it.
And that's
Maybe this is somewhat interesting. I think, I don't know, like, I feel as though he's somewhat missed his Twilight Counter, so he's going for a DT rush and making it fake it out to look as though it is obviously Oracle harassment. Well, I assume, because that's pretty much all he would use that much gas for.
Yeah,
he went for Warp Gate tech, so that makes sense. But also, I was kind of confused as to why he chronoed out Warp Gate, because usually you want to try and stack up some of those chronos to get that really fast Oracle out, but not the case this time.
Yeah, and this is a pretty big factor. Again, there's no engineering bay out there. It hasn't been scouted yet, and this is actually pretty good for Magna because he hasn't moved out with the Stalker, and he hasn't moved out with the Stalker. He hasn't moved out with the Mothership Core, second Stalker. So no scout's going to be really seriously available unless the scan gets dropped by Crawl. Now Crawl is somebody actually I remember. I play him a few times on ladder. He's actually a really good Terran. From what I remember, took a couple games off him. He's taken a couple off of me. I'm not sure how he does in TVP though. Again, as we're seeing the proxy pollen getting placed, how ready is he going to be for these DTs? He still doesn't have the eBay, and he's just threw down the CC. So at this point, unless he saves a scan, which is coming up right now, he's got a scan that's going to be available to him. But how soon will he spend that on a mule, or will he spend that on a scan? And that's going to be big because he's going to have to start scrambling. And every little delay and every little second, I mean, it's going to affect as Magnet over there on the other side's taking a Nexus. So that's pretty big. And you know what, the worst part?
See if he throws down. No,
the worst part, this is probably going to throw Crawlith off. He's going to think that he's going for a 3-gate expand or something like that. Probably not even considering DTs at the moment. Oh my,
DT
yeah.
Expand actually isn't as bad as people think. It's pretty legitimate. It works quite a lot of the time because obviously as Terran you've got a few scans. You have to know for certain that they're going DTs to really be able to engage right now. And even then, with these force fields, with these nice poke from your stalkers, if he sees an engagement, it usually means that the Terrans had to sacrifice going for that faster CC.
Yeah, typically that is the case. Now the first two Dark Templars are
a lot of energy though.
Yep, big part.
Kind of...
I'm just waiting for him just to drop right as the DTs come on in. I'm waiting for him to drop the mules and like miss that by just half a second. And looking at it, DTs are coming on in here. Does he notice them just yet? No, he does. There we go. Actually, notice one up the ramp. Beautiful catch right there. That's huge because again, he hasn't lost any economy at that point. He will most likely lose this SCV trying to build the bunker right there at the natural, but not too bad of a deal. And as we see Medevac rolling on into the main for Magnet and going to drop that Widow Mine. Does he realize? Oh! Only gets a couple though. That could have been a hell of a lot worse. Actually 5 total, not too bad actually. I thought he got a couple less than that.
As a prototype, that is the most frustrating thing in the world, having Widow Mines in your mineral line when you haven't got the Observer.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the big risk. Again, that's kind of a good play right now at the moment by Crawl to drop those and try to utilize those as best as he possibly can. This is going to delay Magnet's economy as we see the supply completely big deficits, 40 to 60 at the moment. He's got about the same amount of SCVs, but with 2 orbitals, he's just going to be able to drop mules and take a little bit of a lead. Since he went into Dark Templars rather than different type of tech, he's going to have to either try to think maybe quick, either go into Charge Lot Archon, or maybe get a little bit greedier because, you know, with a couple scans saved, a Terran player with the Bio Army, with Stam, with the Medevacs, that could just do too much damage at a good timing. At least how I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to be very cautious, obviously, of that just frontal assault with the Medevac reinforcements. On Marines, it's a ridiculous combination. Not to mention the Widow Mines do a really good job of cleaning up any of those excess units that bunch up, for example, like the Mothership Core, or even potentially taking out a few Dark Templars if he gets vision.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting how he works this now with the Widow Mines. Oh, this is going to be so painful and so hard to hold off for Magnet, I feel like. He's trying to add 2 additional gates, but I mean, look at his total unit count. He's got a few Zealots, he's got a Dark Templar, he's got a Mothership Core, and a few Stalkers. But I mean, how well is that honestly realistically going to be able to compete with the amount that's going to be coming at him? And
he just wasn't able to do enough damage when he did the DTs. Like, he needed to take maybe 5 or 6 SCVs, I think, to really make that
whether SCVs or just completely delay the economy if he possibly could. Exactly. I mean, it was just fortunate for Crawl that he just caught that first DT walking up the ramp. He noticed it, and I mean, that sometimes just works out in the Terran's favor. Well, drop them not in.
I'm kind of curious that he hasn't used them. Oh, maybe he'll use them to engage.
Yeah, I think he's going to utilize the boost to hop on in there. Proxy pile
second one, natural and the main, so which one's he going to drop first? Okay, main is going in, drops, there is a photon cannon there. Did use afterburners to make his way in, focusing down all the probes. Second drop is trying to make his way into the natural. Now just trying to do something with the Widow Mines.
Beautiful hit by Widow
Mines. The economy.
Wow. Holy crap, that was a lot of economy killed right there at the natural, and he picks those Widow Mines up and just leaves on out of there. That's such a beautiful drop play by Crawls right now at the moment. The drop in the main got cleared out, was able to save about 3 Marines. This is such wonderful play. I mean, Western Ontario's got to be going insane. They're on the border of taking this series 3-1, and I mean, Crawls taking even a bigger and bigger lead. No proxy pylons at the front that could be utilized for any harassment. This is kind of what Western Ontario really wants for them to happen right now at the moment, man. This is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, kind of unfortunately put, the DTs aren't transitioning. They don't transition very well into the mid-game when your opponent knows, and he's not going for Archons, which, I don't know, I feel like going for Colossi, trying to tech switch into Colossi is a bit expensive for this stage, and it has left him fairly vulnerable. Now we're going to see yet another big, probably going to be the death drop into the main, I imagine.
Yeah, triple medevac with bio. It's going to be hard to hold off. Again, he does have a Dark Templar, which might force a scan or delay him. He does have enough energy for the Nexus cannon, but there's only one Colossus out. Range hasn't been finished up yet. You look at the units total out on the map, there's not really a lot going on, and he's actually trying to dual prong drop this again. He's dropping the Widow Mines in the natural as he's dropping in the main. Big hit. One Widow Mine takes out 5 Urkers, another one takes out 4, and now the drop continues on in the main. This is such awesome play by Crawl, man. This is just so this is just really tough right now. Even though he's clearing it out, this is just so hard to handle right now for Protoss players when this kind of gets a little bit out of control.
Yeah, especially, I mean, he was a bit fortunate in that situation. Krolov didn't use a scan inside the main, so didn't realize, or didn't basically catch the Z1 Dark Templar that I'm pretty sure is sitting at about 5 kills at the moment. How many kills did he got? 9 kills, so he did pretty well cleaning up that attack. Came up pretty happy with it, but for the most part, I think that still, despite that, given the fact that he's done such a massive damage to the economy, 30 probes to the 50 SCVs, and you factor in mules on top of that, there's not much Magnet can really do to come back in unless he's going to somehow take out pretty much the entire economy of Korolev.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he doesn't have a Templar Archive, so he can't, work the way he can't work his way back in with storms and feedbacks and utilize those to his advantage. I mean, he's just getting his 1 armor upgrade at 15 minutes into the game. Charge is about halfway done, getting another Colossus out. But at this point, Krolov is going to be able to get a very thick bio army, and it doesn't matter how many Colossus you have. If you got too thick of a bio army, they're going to be able to overwhelm Colossus even without enough Vikings. And I mean, as well, he's also adding Vikings, so that's just overall, I mean, just a huge advantage right now for Colt. What's a way do you think? What's a way that Magnet could come back? I guess would be the question.
I think he needs to go back to maybe some old school style plays. Storming the mineral line. I know it's not done anywhere near as common as it used to be, just because of how effective oracles are. Oh, sorry, not oracles. Yes, it is oracles. What the hell? I'm going crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, storming the mineral line would probably be the only thing. Like, really think would do a massive amount of damage. But even then, he hasn't got the tech yet for High Templar. He is starting to tech towards that direction, I feel. Like, he's getting quite a few gates up, so he's preparing for that switch. But this attack coming through from Korolev is just going to hit at the most ideal time, where Magnet really hasn't been able to transition away from his Colossi tech at this stage. Doesn't really have a big enough force, but 4 Vikings straight onto the Colossi will clean up very quickly.
Yeah. You keep looking at it, he's got a lot of muscle up. He might be waiting for one of his attack upgrade to finish up before he hits. He's got 5 total Vikings. That's going to deal with the Colossus really well. The rest of the bio on the ground as well with Micro is going to be just fine. Covering all of his bases, he's got a Widow Mine at the 3rd of Magnet, so he's know if he's going to attempt to take that. He's got a turret and a Widow Mine over at his own 3rd, so in case DTs come in and try to harass him. This is actually nice before flying everything on in. He's dropping 1 medevac, clearing out some of the units, maybe even drawing him out of position, or at least just trying to see what exactly he does. Now with that DT gone, with the Zealot gone, I think he's going to continue on with the rest. I'm honestly wondering, I'm like, did actually Krolov forget the rest of his army right now at the moment? He's just going like...
yeah, I think he was worried about a dual-pronged attack. That's probably the biggest thing. Bait out beautifully the Colossus. He's just going to destroy that in moments with the Vikings. Yeah, he's just trying to bait it out. I think the biggest threat that a lot of Protoss players, well, when I play Protoss, the biggest thing I worry about is when they drop me that they're going to go for my main as well with a slightly stronger attack. So it's always difficult trying to balance out exactly how many units to set. Vikings flying straight over the Stalkers as well as the Archons, but not going to be enough. Even though they do a nice job of cleaning up the majority of the army, the reality is Magnet is almost mined out inside his main base, and the 3rd base for the Terran just going to be enough to keep that reinforcing units and clean up this attack. He did really well, dealing with the majority of it, but landed Vikings now.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to see a GG here really soon. Krolov ahead 100 supply over his opponent. No third base in sight at all. Yeah, Widow Mine's still blocking that pathway. He's got also the factory over here to check out this 5th location. He just peeked over the 4th base. Now, Magnet is kind of going for broke right now, as we see on the left side, trying to warp in some DTs, forming in to charge a lot Archon. But at this point, unless you actually have a big amount and have some Templars to back you up, it's almost near impossible to make it work. I mean, there's just way too much bio. Upgrades are too good for Krolov. He's covering all of his bases. And now finally he's going to go for that third that's just kind of forming at the moment. It's at this point a loss situation. It just realistically, economically, no way they could come back, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, he is currently half the supply, and on top of that, he has maybe a 1/3 of the army value when you're looking at the active army forces. Not to mention the fact that 3-3 is on the way for the Terran infantry, so the moment that hits is going to be ridiculous. They've already got the 2-2 upgrades in comparison to the 1-0-1 Protoss.
And here we go, the bio army coming right on in here. Man, completely just pillaging that Nexus. And GG coming from Magnet realizes that there's way too much out for Krolov, and congratulations to Western Ontario, taking the series to 3-1 over the Utah Utes. They're going to be facing off, I think, against either Georgia Tech or who are they going to be facing off against? Western Ontario is going to be facing off against. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Who are they going to be facing off against? Help me!
Hey,
Help me!
You started this line of questioning. I'm not entirely sure, but they went up against someone, and I'm sure they do well. But like, guys, if you haven't already, do make sure you check out Raid Call Group 1111. There is a party there. Tim's looking for someone to meet. Maybe you can look to meet someone there too. I'll look to meet someone there. Maybe
they're going to be playing Austin. There we go. There we go. They're going to be playing Austin. They're going to be playing Texas Austin. So, all right, guys. Once we get back, we're going to be going to our second series of the night. It's going to be University of Washington. So Kawhi, Caliber, and that whole crew versus one of the newer faces of the Collegiate Star League, New York University Bobcats. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more action in just a bit.